Okay, hey YouTube. So this is the third video in 3 nights. So this is what I do instead of going out on dates. And so now you see my moral dilemma here as I decide between making videos for you guys and going out on dates. I'll have to give that one some thought. But in the meantime, I do have a little bit more time, free time in general, thanks to the fact that I've actually kind of taken some steps back from some trans communities that I had been participating in. And by taking some steps back, I mean I was actually kicked out of or banned from those two particular communities. And so the more recent community is because I was calling out somebody's xenophobia around immigrants, and particularly undocumented immigrants or illegal immigrants, if you want to be non-politically correct there. And just some sort of the attitudes and just sort of general sentiments presented of, well, we can care about trans immigrants once we take care of all the trans people in America and things like that. And so I called out some views there and got kicked out of that group. And in another trans group that I've been going to for quite some time, actually, I was kicked out for calling out one of the moderators in private about how they were sort of calling me out publicly about sort of my participation in the forum. I had definitely been given a couple of temporary bans, and even at one point the entire forum was shut down for like a week, because I had a way of tending to call out people, particularly those who wanted to ignore or diminish passing privilege, racist comments that were made, ageist comments that were made, true trans arguments, basically the more trans than thou, right way to be trans kind of arguments, things like that. So I called out basically problematic statements when they were made, and I did this on a very consistent and regular basis. But I enjoyed some of the conversation topics that were there. But apparently people didn't appreciate how I participated in those conversations. And so that gives me more free time to go sleep, run, make YouTube videos, go on dates, whatever. I've actually been more productive, not as sort of stressed out with kind of how sort of blind some of these arguments are. And I think that these kinds of views exist throughout the trans community, the LGBT community, and I think that's sort of what the problem with trans community, or the LGBT community is that there's a lot of sort of other identities that are overlapping with trans identities and overlapping with LGBT identities. And a lot of people have a tendency to look at things really from a very narrow perspective. These people happen to be typically a little bit older, white, middle class, but problematic positions can come from all sorts of people, regardless of those things. But that's why I don't really participate as much in sort of trans community activities or politics or online forums, because I'd rather not deal with all that other stuff.